Alright, it's time for a lot of us to start upgrading our internet. A lot of people's houses is getting above 100 megabits a second. A lot of people's businesses are getting above 100 megabits a second. So usually in your business, your internet service provider will provide you with the main router, or they'll get the internet connection to your business, but actually spreading it from there and making sure you have internet everywhere is up to the owner of the business. In this situation, we're at a hotel. It's up to us to make sure that all the guests can access our Wi-Fi. By doing that, this is like our second setup right here. This will be our third upgrade right now we're doing. But the last time, this is what we went with. TRENDnet TEW-638APBs. These claim to transmit up to 300 megabits per second, as you can see right here. But something that I've learned, this is kind of tricky because the actual Ethernet port can only handle 100 megabits per second. So even though it says the Wi-Fi can handle 300 megabits per second, unless you were connected from Wi-Fi to Wi-Fi, and not if you weren't using the Ethernet port at all, is the only way you could get 300 megabits per second. So using this as an access point, even though we have 200 megabits per second coming into the Ethernet port, over Wi-Fi we're only getting about maybe 50 megabits per second max through the antennas to the actual devices. And the problem is, like I said, it's just kind of tricky. So they don't sell a 200 megabit per second port. The next step up is 1,000 megabits per second. Another way to say that is to say a gigabit. A lot of people call it gigabit. And as you can see, this is Gigabit Port. You can see here on the NetGEAR, it also has 4 gigabit ports. So you have the same N300 kind of, and you also have the new 5 gigahertz band, which gives you the 867 for a total of 1200. That's where they get the 1200 from, because this is almost 9 and you add the 3, that's 1200. On this one, you're stuck to the single 2.4 gigahertz band. You don't have the 5 gigahertz, so this one's going to allow you to have less congested networks, because you're going to have 2 bands on each router, on each access point, but you're also going to have faster speeds, way faster speeds through the 5 gigahertz band. So the best of both worlds, you're going to have the 2.4 gigahertz. This will still be able to handle all of your old devices, and it'll still be able to reach further. But for all of your other devices, your newer devices, you'll be able to use the 5 gigahertz band, and you'll be able to go way faster. We're about to connect this one. We'll run some tests. We're going to check for range, and we're going to check for speed. So we're going to see which one can give us the maximum speed, and then I'll pull out a tracking sheet and we can see how many room numbers we can go down before we lose connection. This is my tracking sheet. You can see I got the TPLink and the TRENDnet routers. This is the 2.4. We're going to go down on 2.4, and I'll come back with the 5. And we're not right beside the antenna by any means right here. The antenna is probably more close to room 105. So probably about 2 rooms down is right beside the antenna. This time we got a lower ping, but we seem to be getting a way lower download speed. So what we're going to do, we're going to jump over to our 5 gigahertz band. See, sometimes I might have to. Alright, see, you can tell the 5 gigahertz. It's through beamforming it might pick up a little, but it's a little low right now. But let's see what we get. Just because it's a wider band, we still might get some decent numbers. Right now now the 5 gigahertz will run a little higher than the 2.4 gigahertz band, but it's not high as I expected it to be. But you know, this is real world. This isn't paper. It's always a difference between real world and on paper, and that's why it's important to go through and do a test like this to actually see which one is better. This way we'll verify. On my cell phone, and it came up to 36. All right, we're here in room 105 now. We're getting pretty close to our router. So we're gonna check this one. I expect this one or maybe the next room to be the fastest. I can't get to the next room because it's a stayover. So let's run this one and see how it goes. And this is on the 2.4 band. We're at 100 megabits per second, which is more than the other access points could even handle. And it's pretty close. All right, I'm gonna call this 100. All right, I said upload's not too important, so we're gonna skip that. Okay, let's try to run it from the 5 gigahertz. Yes, that's what I expected. So we got 184. All right, so on the 2.4 band cell phone, we got 55, laptop 100. On the 5 gigahertz, we got 127 cell phone, 184 laptop. Okay, the next room, 107 is a stayover. We can't get into there. So let's go down to 109. We'll start getting away from this access point again, and we'll start to see how the connection does as it goes out and about how far we can get away before we need another access point. Here we are in room 109. Let's say we're getting a little further away. And just to show you why I'm checking this specific location, this is where a guest would more than likely be if they came in to work on something with their laptop. That's why I'm checking that specific location. You can see the room's kind of big, and the access points are all located in the chase between the rooms, which will be behind this wall here. So you can see this little office center is close to the door, and if somebody were to come in with their laptop, you could plug Ethernet straight to the lamp here, but I don't think the lamp would handle a gig, and it's a lot easier just to come through and connect to the internet, especially when it's pretty fast. Let's run it again. I'm just running it twice from now on because twice seems to be about the right range. Something happens on the third run where it seems like it falls off a little. This is room 111. We are kind of a ways away from the access point now. About the same as probably room 101, the first room we did, so I expect about similar results. And if you look at the numbers, that's about what we're getting. All right, we're gonna run one more test. Then we'll switch to 5G. This is where it's gonna get funny because they say 5G doesn't travel as far. So when 4G falls off this low, it makes you wonder what 5G will do. I expect it to maybe be about the same because it's pushing out a lot more, but at the same time it's having a lot more time struggling to get it through the walls. So we're about, let's say 16. I'll say that's the absolute bottom I want anywhere. I really don't want it that low, but we'll see. Like I might test one more room just to see, but I won't go further. This is as far range as we're gonna get. Right. Let's try to. Okay, we're not even. Oh, okay, there's the 5G. We almost didn't even see the 5G. All right, we're connected. Let's see what we get. This is the interesting. It gets interesting here when you get further out. 5 ping. But look at the speed. So it's doing even worse. So this is pretty much the range. We can't go any further. There's no point of testing further. So we need to swap access points. We'll go to 101, then I'll come to 111, and we'll check around 105 in the middle and see what we got. Upload, we're not even getting a reading. It's not even getting a reading, okay? All right, we got a little better this time. Like I said, I wouldn't go any further than this. Now this is okay scrolling through Facebook or something or YouTube, but if you were really trying to do something, it would be terrible. Okay, 24. So I'm gonna just put 20 down. Wait, this is the 5G. So actually 5G, we got about 16 on. Yeah, we had about 16 on 2.4, and we actually got about 24 on 5G. So it's doing about what I thought. It's doing about the same. Okay, so we tried to run the test with the cell phone. At this specific location, we seen the numbers for the laptop were 16 on 2.4. I didn't write it down, but I think it was around 20 or 24. I'm gonna write 20. I think it's around 20 for 5 gigahertz. On the cell phone, when I tried to run the exact same test, I'm not even able to run the test. It'll be unusable internet, so that's not even worth trying. So the other thing, what I want to do now is I want to switch to the other access point, and we'll try to get a readings from the same 3 rooms and see if they do better or worse or the exact same. If they do the exact same, then we'll go with the TRENDnet boxes just because they're cheaper. If the TP-Link does better, we'll go with the TP-Link, and if the TRENDnet does better, we'll go with the TRENDnet. So the main thing we're trying to see now is how the TRENDnet box performs compared to these. And why this is important is, like I said, with the other access points, the older access points, you couldn't get above maybe 40 or 50 megabits per second. And most providers, that even if they offering only 100 megabits per second in your area, the actual speed is probably 120 or 130, maybe even more. So excuse me while I walk through here. I gotta connect all of our internet back together. So if you're paying for faster speeds and you're not getting them at your business or at your home, especially if it's a larger home where one router is not enough, the best thing to do is get you a new access point. Go ahead and replace it, because with these new access points, even if you increase your speeds up to a gigabit, you're gonna be able to handle it. It's kind of, you're gonna be able to handle it. You're pretty much future-proofing yourself. See, these are PoE. See, these don't have a power connection, but I went through and installed electrical boxes all the way down so we can easily upgrade. So you see right now, throughout the hotel, these are the exact ones that we have. These are the TRENDnet I showed you earlier, the 300N models. All right, so our access point has been switched out. It's in the exact same place as the other one, to the exact same connections. So we noticed that 101 and 111 were our weakest rooms. 105 was about our strongest rooms. Hopefully no one's checked into these rooms. I'm going to go ahead and try to go to these 3 rooms. We're going to run a speed test and compare it to what we have, and then we'll know where to start tomorrow and pick up from there. So I'm going to go run all 3 of these speed tests, and then I'm going to come back. Our first results were a little lower. Our second results are a little higher, but it seems to be that it's averaging out about the same. One thing I do notice, it seems like there's less fluctuation in the speeds. Like, it seems to lock on one speed and stay there better instead of jumping around. But that's just beginning. It's hard to say. This was our winner last time. We were able to get 100 megabits per second, 2.4, and we were able to get as 184 on the 5 gigahertz. Right now it doesn't seem to be performing as well with this one. It's kind of a big difference actually. 6200 is a big difference, and it's right now we should be getting pretty decent results. It is 3 and 4 curveball. I didn't expect that. I figured it would be about the same. So far everything looks about the same. Like I said, that's why everything in the real world is not the same as on paper. And also, every access point, even with the same specs, might not perform exactly the same. It could be this one unit versus this one unit. Yeah, but I'm running it multiple times. I'm not getting it above 50. Okay, so this is the first red flag that we found so far. And I should say that I kind of had a feeling that the white one, the TPLink, would perform better. We're gonna run one more, but this is just to verify it. All right, so we did get our numbers up. We're at the 80s. I'm gonna run this one. I'll give it 85 for the benefit of the doubt. I'll write down 80. It's just got me wondering. I'm gonna try it one more time just to see. Nope. We tanked it out. I won't count this one. I told you a lot of times after the third one it acts funky anyway. Alright. Okay. Alright, we'll run this one and then we'll go to the next room and run 1 or 2 more tests, and that'll be all. Alright, so we're at 170 and we have 184 on the other one. So we got about 170. So I wouldn't really call that a big difference. That's close enough. But the other one, to me, that seems a major difference. Seems pretty level around 170. Okay, 180. Right, so it reached 180. The highest on our other access point was 184. 180 to 184, that's not a major difference. I wouldn't even consider that a difference. I would call that a tie. You wouldn't be able to tell a major difference in actual usage in that speed. And you see the upload still 184. So we're gonna call that one pretty decent. Let's go down and check this last room and see what's going on. For some reason, the 2.4 is not working as good right here, but the 5 seems to be doing pretty well. All right, there's our sign. We got hopefully one more speed run in it. Let's try to get it done before it dies. All right. I want 11 earlier. 16. We got 16 earlier. All right, we're at 11. So that's about 12. Try to back up a little bit. I don't want ping's a little high. It's 20 ping. Yeah, she's falling off. And it could be something with the battery dying too. It's probably not reaching as far as it should. This almost exactly 11 again. We're gonna try to run it one more. Hopefully we can get this one and switch it. All right, it's about 12. It's pretty level at about 12 or 13. That's pretty close to the other one. Let's hurry and try to switch connections to 5G. It might cut off before any of this happens. All right. See what we get. We are getting a test there. All right, we're getting a pretty good signal here. We got about 20. All right, it's about the same. We got about 20 from the last one and 20 from this one. So the performance is not too much. Okay, I'll wrap it up in a second. All right, let's try to run one more. See if we can get another 20 to verify. Oh yeah. All right, that's about 20. So we're gonna say this one's about 20. Go ahead and let it finish. So it actually performed a little better right here on the 5G. All right. So in this situation, the TPLink TL-WA1201, this seems to be the better option. And this is my specific situation from the testing that I've done. And anybody can go behind me and double check and verify if they want to, but I thought this would be just something interesting to make a video about, because a lot of people, like I said, are going to be going through updating their access points. A lot of people are upgrading to faster internet. The TP-Link really outperformed on this one, and I'm not gonna lie, I kind of expected it to, just because the antennas, it has 4 antennas on it instead of 2, and the antennas are a lot longer. Not a lot, but you got 4 antennas and they're longer, so I expected it to perform better, and it did. The price is only $5 more than the other NetGEAR access point, so for the better performance, to me, it's worth the extra $5, because this is supposed to be something we won't have to worry about for at least the next 5 years or so, hopefully. Because even if in 2 years they say we're going to go up to a gigabit connection, everything will be ready for a gigabit. All the wires ready, everything's set up. We won't have to change anything except for call our internet service provider and say, hey, we want to up our package. All right, and if you made it this far to the video, this is it. We're going to wrap it up. I just want to take the time to say thank you guys. I love you guys. Most of the people who watch are not subscribed to the channel. If you don't mind, it doesn't cost anything. If you want to show a little support, all I ask you to do is just like and subscribe to the video. If you have anybody else that may be wondering the same thing, you don't even have to show them the video. Just share the information. Hopefully this can help as many people as possible. Thanks again. I love you guys. If you have anything at all that you might need help with, or you would like me to break down that you could understand, if there is any other thing that you might need help fixing, let me know and we'll try to make a video about it.